guys, welcome back to Shenanigans on the Great Loop at the helm again. We have a lot of catching up to do. I'm way behind on doing a video about a whole month. I was hoping to do them every 10 to 14 days and it's been like 30. It's mostly the producer, cameraman's fault. He has to wear a lot of hats. I make him drive the boat. I make him fix the boat. I make him make me snacks and all my meals. I send him ashore to get provisions, and then he's off on tours and stuff like that. I think he's easily distracted or something like that. Then I make him come back and do a lot of other chores, but I'll see if he can do better. Here I am. At this current time, I'm in St. Helena Sound in South Carolina, between Beaufort and Charleston, where I'm heading, and I'm probably going to take 2 days to get up to Charleston. So some catching up to do. First, I'm going to go off the boat subject real quick. Last night, the New York Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs. I'm jacked about that. My daughters live up in Manhattan, so they're Knicks fans. I'm happy for them. They're up there celebrating. Not too much, but they're having a good time. And I think my biggest pleasure out of that game is seeing the Spurs go home. I don't mind the Spurs, but Wembanyama, he can go packing. And in fact, I think he should take it back to France. Anyway, off that subject, back to boating. A lot to catch up on. Last time we spoke, I was coming out of Indiantown, which is up by Lake Okeechobee. I got down to the Atlantic side of Florida and got on the Intracoastal Waterway, which I'll call the ICW, and started making my way north. Made my first stop at Fort Pierce, fueled up there. Some towns I went to, Melbourne. Where else? Melbourne. Went up to Titusville, which was awesome. I saw 2 rocket launches up there. One was a SpaceX, a Falcon 9 rocket taking internet satellites up there, and then the same day, a rare double header, as they say, was a Saturn V rocket, also bringing up internet satellites. I think that was Bezos's deal there. So Titusville was really cool. Let's see what else. Titusville, up to ICW, everything is the ICW. Up to Daytona. Daytona was really cool. I only spent the night there. I was so tempted just to sit on the boat and shake the day off, but I went out for a nice walk and I noticed there's a small baseball stadium. So I walked over there and caught a single A baseball game, and I've never seen minor league baseball before. It was great. I can't wait to get another town to another minor league team. Charleston has one. I was going to go up there and see that, but they're on the road this week, so I'm kind of bummed about that. So yeah, let's see. Daytona, where'd I go to Daytona? St. Augustine. Up to St. Augustine was really cool. If you ever get out to Florida, put St. Augustine on your to-do list. Amazing history going all the way back to the 1500s. Of course, the history goes back further than that, but there's an old Spanish fort there just still standing. The country's oldest Catholic parish is in St. Augustine, not oldest church, but oldest parish. So St. Augustine is worth a revisit. Let's see, I got a couple notes here. After St. Augustine, north up to Fernandina, and that's me getting up and out of Florida, and I learned the paradox of Florida because I met a lot of people, and the paradox of Florida is the more north you go, the more south you get. So my friend Tim Murphy flew into Jacksonville, Florida. He was my first visitor on the trip. I'm gonna break and probably insert a clip of him visiting, and then yeah, we walked downtown, caught dinner. There was this, I never even heard about it, called the Gumball 3000. It was a car rally going from like Miami down to Mexico, all these high-end cars. So that was kind of fun to watch that. Out of Fernandina, headed north, crossed the border into Georgia. With Tim, we went to Jekyll Island, which has a lot of great history there, especially having to do with the Federal Reserve System. 100 years ago, some bigwigs got there and hashed it all out, kind of the blueprint for our Federal Reserve System. So that was very interesting history there. Then yeah, we did a 500-mile mark under the boat in those few days. We anchored out for the very first time. So no marina, just drop the hook and hope you don't wake up somewhere else the next day. that worked out well. I'm still a little bit nervous about that, even with the anchor alarm. Let's see. Then we got up to Savannah, Georgia. Got to a marina there at the Hinckley Boatyard there. Hung out there, did a tour in Savannah, went out to dinner. Took the free ferry across the river to South Carolina and back, so we kind of tagged the state. Then Tim took off from there. I'm on my own again. Then spent a day going up to Beaufort, not Beaufort, Beaufort, South Carolina, and I spent about 3 nights, 2 full days there. Another amazing town. Went on a tour, a couple tours. Went to the Pat Conroy Literary Center. He wrote a story you guys have all heard of called The Great Santini, which was made into a movie. And then he wrote another book which was made into a movie that a lot of people have not heard of, but the movie was from 1974 called Conrack, and the book that inspired that movie was called The Water is Wide. So picked up those books while I was there. Conrack is like a lifelong favorite movie of mine, and that the story that inspired the book and the movie happened not far from here on Defusky Island. And so I felt privileged to boat by that, look at it. It's a very touching story about a Pat Conroy, who was a teacher, and he was sent there to teach kids who were, primary school into early teens, didn't know how to read, write. They didn't even know how to count. They really didn't know. They said, one of the questions they were asked is, what's the biggest city in the world? And they said Savannah. That's as far as they knew. So it's a great story. If you ever want to see a good movie, see Conrack. Off the boating subject again. And then here I am right here now. I'm in St. Helena Sound. I just stopped the boat because the sound is, I can't do these with the engine going on. So I'm just floating out here looking at the Atlantic Ocean. I gotta say, I'm loving it. The trip is going awesome. The boat just runs and runs and runs. It just doesn't even hiccup. I love it. Kind of where a 61-year-old guy wants to be. I'm out here minding my own business. I like it. So all right, I'm gonna so I think I'll insert some videos here. We'll bounce around a whole bunch, and probably not the most refined videos, but you get all the warts and wrinkles. Luckily, I don't really have any warts, but you get all the wrinkles and imperfections, but we know each other, so close enough is good enough, right? Okay, I'm gonna break, insert some videos. Maybe I do a voiceover or something like that, but we'll keep on trucking. All right, let's fire this thing up. Let's go. Last time for this, hopefully. Atlas 5, May 29th. Hey gang, great to be here. upper helm and bridge of Shenanigans. I want you guys to say hello to a good old friend of mine, Tim Murphy. Tim is the first visitor to come out and join me on the Great Loop. So Tim and I go way back, all the way to 7th grade at St. Charles in San Carlos, California. And let me think, Tim, it just occurred to me right before I hit this button, you and I met 50 years ago this fall. Exactly 50 years ago. We're right now, we left Jekyll Island, Georgia this morning. We crossed into Florida, Georgia yesterday from Florida, and stopped at Jekyll Island. We both have a shared interest in history, and Jekyll Island has financial history there having to do with the Federal Reserve System. Tim read up on it yesterday for an hour while I took an hour nap.
Yeah, led to the creation of the 12-bank Federal Reserve System.
Yeah, very good. That's what you get for reading and not taking a nap. Good on you. So this morning we're heading out. We're just going to do as many miles as we can muster between Jekyll Island and Savannah, Georgia. Tim's going to spend a couple more days here, and I'll drop him off up in Savannah. And
then I'll be back to the Chesapeake.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Tim knows the Chesapeake Bay. He lived it in Annapolis for how long?
We're going to go to all the crab cake places.
Okay, sounds good. All right. I'll be doing some napping after those stops too.
Yeah.
All right.